Howdy folks, High Value DMD. Don't just give me your subscription, but please let me earn it. Let me earn your like and let me earn your comment. Christian men, you have a puncher's chance to find a wife. My story is probably very relatable in some ways to many of you out there. I did everything that I knew to do to find a woman that I could marry. Okay? I don't believe in having sex outside of marriage. So marriage is the only way to fulfill that. I also would like to have children one day. I would like to build a life with somebody and grow old together with somebody. And so dating is not easy, as many of you probably have figured out by now. If you're a Christian especially. If you're a Christian, you're not looking for a bunch of hookup culture. You definitely don't want a woman that has a bunch of bodies on her, that has been sleeping around. You preferably don't want a woman that has had sex one single time in her life. It's just the truth. That's what you're looking for. And in order to do that, this is what I did. Okay? I went to church like I was supposed to. And also, let me preface this. Nobody owes me anything. Nobody owed me a wife. God doesn't owe you a wife. Okay? He doesn't owe you that. The Bible is clear that He doesn't want you to burn with desire. That He wants, not everybody can be single. Not everybody has that ability. And so you can pray and you can ask for a wife. But it doesn't mean you're going to get one. And it doesn't mean that you are going to get one exactly with your whole list of preferences. All right? So I went to church. I tried to get involved in church. I play guitar, so I played music sometimes. I was really busy, though. I was in dental school, so that's a doctorate program. It's a lot of work, okay? So I didn't have time to be the guy that was like the worship leader or leading like the youth group and all that. I just couldn't do that, okay? That's what some of these Christian girls are looking for. They're looking for this perfect dude that's like so spiritual and all this. But I just couldn't be that. And I'm really not that person. Okay? So I went to church and I did that. And, I tried to show that I was intelligent, that I thought about the Bible, that I had knowledge about the Bible. I tried to, for the pastor to know who I was. Essentially, you're not going to find a wife unless you are making an effort to be known. Okay, so if you go to church and you're clearly a single guy, at least that you are a known quantity. You're not sitting at home just hoping a woman's going to fall out of the sky at your front doorstep. It's not going to work that way. You have to be a known quantity. So I did that. And a lot of people say, well, you need to be a member at a local church and serve that church only. So I hung around this church for a while, but after a while, you sort of know everybody there. And it's not like there's going to be just an influx of a bunch of new families or this, that, and there's going to be a bunch of more young women that are your age that are coming in there. I was 24 when I started dental school. And so typically when you're at a church, it's going to be girls of youth group age, or it's going to be like single moms or like widowed women in their 30s. In that 20s time frame, it's really a tough time. So I was like, okay, forget this. I'm not going to spend all of my time with this local church where there's not anybody that I'm looking for, right? There's not my age group. They're just not there. So I think it's incumbent upon you to go like to use your own 2 feet, your Lamborghinis and your Chevrolets, and to go and find that lady. Okay, so I ended up going to this Bible study group. Keep in mind, I'm one of the older people there. A lot of people find their spouses in college, and when you're out of college and you're 23, you're 24, you're starting to age out of some of this stuff. Some of these little cheesy activities they do, and things start just to look that much cheesier. Okay, you're like a grown adult. You're over some of this stuff. You did that in middle school, high school, early college. Anyway, I go to these Bible studies, and I'm trying to meet people, and it's just not working. It's not working. People are awkward. People are in different stages of life where they're not looking for that. And it also doesn't help that if you are the odd person out, okay, you are like, you go to a new place and you are now like, again, you're an unknown quantity. People don't know who you are. There's an inherent amount of distrust in you because you're a stranger. So you have to stick around a while and sort of prove who you are. So somebody will trust you enough, and it won't be awkward, so maybe you can ask somebody to go on a date. And that never really worked. I might have gotten 1 or 2 dates out of doing that activity, going to groups like that. I was actually going to 2 or 3 Bible studies like that on the side, as busy as I was with dental school, just trying to broaden my network. And as I'm reflecting on this, I'm trying to give advice the best I can. But it just seems like people want things to happen very organically. People want things to happen like the movies, and they, a lot of people don't want like super direct. They want to hang out in a group, and they just want things to sort of just fall into place, and you fall in love. It's not very romantic just to be like, okay, I haven't known you very long. Okay, just ask you on a date. Anyway, I tried the Bible study thing, and it just wasn't working out super well. It's crazy because, I was doing the dating apps. That's really where I got most of the dates that I had. And I matched with my future wife, and that is history. But I think all you really have is a puncher's chance. You have to cast a wide net. You have to do the work yourself, and you just sort of have to pray as well. And you have to hope that it happens. And for some people, unfortunately, it's not happening. It still is not happening. They could be 30, 32, 35, and it just didn't ever happen for them. In our day and age, it's different because people are moving across the country for work and for school. I did. Okay, that's not how it happened in my grandparents' age, in my parents' age. You met with somebody just like down the road or in a town just over, and everybody knew each other, and you were introduced by mutual friends. But that just doesn't happen anymore, man. People are... It is such a global society now. People are moving around, and you're just not going to end up with that high school sweetheart. And so when you don't do that and you have to move, you're in a new community. Nobody knows each other. Inherently, there's more distrust in this community because there's people that are from all walks of life. It is just magnifying the problem that much harder. And then you have the fact that social media and movies and all this are making people's expectations just blown way out of proportion. Women are looking for something that doesn't exist, and then also men have unrealistic expectations as well. And so if you do find somebody at church Do you even meet their expectations? Odds are you don't, and their expectations are of somebody that just doesn't exist. Those Christian girls are looking for this very, very, very specific type of person. If you ain't it, you ain't it. And a lot of times, though, they will switch up and they will date somebody maybe that's not even from your church, that's not a Christian, that is just showing up out of nowhere, that's sort of maybe a little bit interested in the Christianity part. And that's not to judge people who didn't grow up in it. Everybody's got to start somewhere. People have to convert at some times. But these Christian girls, sometimes they could see this new guy that's still a sinner, and man, that's kind of edgy. That gets their attention. That can happen, and then your only prospect in your church is now whisked away, and you're out of luck. Man, you have a puncher's chance. That's all I have to tell you. I don't have any advice at how to make this work, because there was no formula that worked for me, so to speak. I didn't think it would be as hard as it was, or take as long as it would, to find, to date, and then to go in that direction of marriage. You know, everything happens for a reason, and I'm glad that my story ended up the way it did. But I tell you what, if I wasn't engaged, if I wasn't about to be married right now, knocking on the door of 30, I would have a very different attitude about life, about, I would still believe in the Christian faith. But I tell you what, it would be that much harder to actually show up and go to church, being single. And it's tough because you have to have faith that God is going to provide for you. But at some point, you're so far removed from, maybe you wanted to get married at like 25, 26 at the latest, or 28. I'm 28. Man, if it doesn't happen at some point, you're just like, you get jaded. You get jaded. And I'm so glad that is not me right now. For some of you, it probably is. I've got a good buddy. He's living out in I won't say the state, but man, he's looking for a woman, and he's having a tough time. He's going through the same thing that I went through, and man, I pray for him. But I've had to encourage him. Hey, you got to be going to some of these other churches. You got to be getting on the apps. You have to get out there. And so with that, I hope I earned your subscription. I hope I earned your like, and I hope I earned your comment. Let me know what you think below. Are you a Christian and you're trying to date? Are you just trying to date in general? I'm just here to say you have a puncher's chance to find that wife that you're looking for. Until next time.